Hello again. This is Donna Warren from the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, and today I would like to review the 3 ways that 2 ideas can be related to each other in an argument. The first way is this. We have a reason that's giving us reason to believe the conclusion. This reason, this conclusion, the relationship between them is called an inference. For example, suppose I know that my neighbors like to watch the stars. And suppose I conclude from this that my neighbors must be extraterrestrials. There's the argument. My neighbors watch the stars. My neighbors are extraterrestrials. Reason, conclusion, inference between them. I can express this little relationship in a number of different ways. I could say, my neighbors watch the stars, therefore my neighbors are extraterrestrials, using a conclusion indicator expression, therefore, for this inference. Or I could say, my neighbors are extraterrestrials because my neighbors watch the stars, using a reason indicator expression, because, for this inference. One way the 2 ideas can be related to each other. Here's the other way the 2 ideas can be related to each other. And the 2 ideas that I'm referencing here are the ideas at the top. 2 ideas can be related to each other if they both need to work together to give us reasons to believe a third. These are called dependent reasons, and quite often they are related to each other as pieces of puzzles are related to each other. Let's just review what's going on here. If this piece of puzzle connects up with this piece of puzzle, they connect up at this circle part, so that circle part disappears down here, and the only thing you can see are the leftover shapes. Same thing with ideas and concepts. This idea will have a concept in common with this idea. That concept will disappear in the conclusion that follows from them, and the conclusion that follows from them will be composed of sort of the leftover concepts. Let's see how that goes. Suppose I continue to think about the fact that my neighbors are extraterrestrials, because that would be kind of hard to forget about. And suppose that I know from having watched many sci-fi movies that extraterrestrials can communicate telepathically. I can then conclude that my neighbors can communicate telepathically. Behold. Look how neatly the puzzle piece technique works here. These 2 ideas are related as dependent reasons because they have this notion of my neighbors, of ETs in common. This is talking about ET. This is talking about ET as well. That concept then does not show up down here. What does show up down here are the leftover concepts. Here we have the leftover concept of my neighbors. Here we have the leftover concept of being able to communicate telepathically. Look at what this is made out of. My neighbors can communicate telepathically. Very, very nice. If we wanted to express this, we could still use because or therefore. I'll use therefore first. I could say, my neighbors are extraterrestrials, and, the plus is usually an and, extraterrestrials can communicate telepathically, therefore, my neighbors can communicate telepathically. If I want to use the expression because, I'll use this because and because expression. So I would say, my neighbors can communicate telepathically because my neighbors are extraterrestrials and because extraterrestrials can communicate telepathically. The third way ideas can be related to each other is as independent reasons. These 2 ideas are related to each other kind of by not being related to each other. Each of them provides independent reasons to believe the conclusion. Often, in fact, I think pretty much all the time, independent reasons or lines of reasoning, if this is more complex, will have their own theme. For example, suppose that I'm aware that my neighbors can communicate telepathically. I might conclude from this that I can't do everything my neighbors can. And that would be exactly the right thing to conclude, because I can't communicate telepathically. But suppose there's another reason, another kind of reason, for me to believe that I can't do everything my neighbors can. For instance, pretty much at this very moment, my neighbors are installing new siding. So I know that my neighbors can install their own siding. I, alas, cannot. So that's a completely different reason to believe that I can't do everything my neighbors can. Righto? This, if we wanted to think about the themes, would be the telepathic communication theme. This would be the siding installation theme. If we wanted to express this, we would just do something to help our listener or our reader to realize that we are giving a different kind of theme or different lines of reasoning. Maybe for one thing, for another thing, I could say that. So I could say, I can't do everything my neighbors can. For one thing, my neighbors can communicate telepathically. For another thing, my neighbors can install their own siding. Good. So now we have reviewed the 3 ways that ideas can be related to each other in an argument. 2 ideas related to each other in an argument. As a reason and a conclusion, as dependent reasons, and as independent reasons. Very good. Next time, I think we can start putting these different kinds of relationships together to get bigger, more interesting arguments. Hope you had fun. I did. Bye-bye.